So these are the stairs that everyone had to walk down to come in. In fact, I had David Bowie here in 1995. He knocked on the door and he said, "Can I come in?" I said, "Oh, go on then." He came in. I hadn't built the studio yet. I built the studio in May '95, so it must have been probably '94, maybe early '95. So this was just one big open space here. So this is how we were. We just remind ourselves with the studio. So he actually came down here with a guy from Rolling Stone magazine. Yeah. He was being interviewed, and then he came up to the control room, sat down, and he had a couple of Marlboros, and he was interviewed by the guy. And he said to the journalist, "I really can't remember the studio being downstairs on a different level." Yeah. So the piano that we're looking at here, Paul playing, is from the window up there, which you can't see because this is double height. But so that's looking down, and the piano was here. Right. So all the rhythm sections were done down this end of the studio. So the drum room.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. This is the old drum room, which I'm just pulling apart. So this is the old drum room. This is underneath the control room. And these are some original bass tracks built in the old studio. So original Ringo and Billy Cobham, Genesis, everyone's played in there. So there wasn't a wall here, they just used to screen the studio off with no acoustic screen. So they could change the studio to whatever shape they want. It's just one big empty space, and to isolate the instruments so they could record them, with isolation, they just had acoustic screens. And the same, with the piano, the lid used to be down, but with microphones on it. But it would pick up others. This is quite an interesting picture here. This is Queen, very early Queen. The reason for this photo is that these were promotional photos for the people who designed the screens. So these were the acoustic screens they used to use. And lucky enough, the architect who was walking by the studio came past and said, "I might have something which you could be interested in." And he gave us these pictures of, literally it's just Freddie and Brian in front of these screens. So pretty unique on that.
Sure.
Who were the females?
They were just dolly birds. They were just promotional.
Just
models. Yeah, models.
People got paid to do that back then?
No, probably did it free.
Yeah, probably paid hundreds of pounds a day for doing it.
Paul with Mary Hopkin here. This is in Flaxman Court, which is the road just opposite. That's what they're doing. Those are the days. All the kids that sang on Those Are the Days. That's Paul with Mary Hopkin. And Paul wearing one of the girls' hats from the school. Yeah, it's the little passageway just outside. Yeah. Yeah, about your age.
So, I mean, the story goes that Ringo started playing drums late on Hey Jude because he went to the toilet and it came out, he nipped across. So the piano's here, so he nipped out of there into his drums and started playing. But, when you look at McCartney's notes on Hey Jude, it seems that it was purposefully done. Nicky Hopkins was playing piano on the session, and basically just did all-night sessions. There's about 14 songs recorded, not all of them finished, some with live vocals and whatever. So they came here, and then they did the Hyde Park concert. So soon after that, they did the free concert. And when Honky Tonk Woman they just released that, and then Blind Faith were supporting them.
Blind Faith?
No, Blind Faith was, they did a concert beforehand. It was.
No. Oh yes, they did. Yes, it was Blind Faith.
Blind Faith did one in Hyde Park, early '69, and the Stones were there, and they did it a few weeks
That's
afterwards.
That's right. Because I saw King Crimson there.
Yeah. Interesting enough, apparently the Stones rehearsed for the Hyde Park concert in the Apple Studios in Savile Row. I didn't realise.
Yeah, probably.
But also, they did some stuff here as well, and there's some pictures, the first pictures of Mick Taylor taken in the studio. It's difficult to see where it is.
Oh, really?
So that could have been.
Could be, yeah.
Might have been.
Could be.
Or Apple, even. Yeah.
So, obviously the Stones and the Beatles were fairly pally, and things, so lots of things. But the interesting thing on the Billy Preston single, that's where it got planned it, is that on drums, that's Ginger Baker. Playing bass is Keith Richards. George Harrison on guitar and Billy Preston on keyboards.
Yeah.
So a lot of cross-pollinisation going on there. You know, what was Ginger Baker doing here? But obviously, you know, so Clapton must have been around, but you know, it's not really documented that, you know, there's nothing that we know that recorded, you know, by Clapton here, but he obviously must have been around. Probably was, but who knows? Do we need him?
So about Eric? Well,
Yeah, so obviously Ginger Baker, no, so a lot of drummers been
There was
you
so
know,
much stuff around that time.
Phil,
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There was so much good stuff. Well, you say good stuff. I mean, well, I think it's good, but yeah, there was a lot of you know, fantastic groups around.
I reckon
All in-
Badfinger must have done some stuff. Yeah,
Well, I think they just used Apple, but who knows?
yeah,
I don't
think
know.
they must have done.
Are there no archives?
No, but there is a book. The guy who's built the studio, Norman Sheffield, is actually writing a book. He's had cancer of the throat, and he's out of well, he's in remission now. So no, he's out of danger. Is that the word? Out of remission or in remission?
In remission, I think.
In
yeah.
remission.
In remission.
So he's actually he came past the studio. He keeps popping in and saying, "Oh, you damaging my studio." He still thinks he owns it. So, but it's
They were
interesting
bankrupt,
talking to him
didn't
because he knows all the Beatles stories now. Because literally they were going off the Beatles filming concerts. Now, there are videotapes around, must be somewhere, but you know it was all private use. But he is. You know, he was around. He ran the business, so it should be an interesting book. Don't know. Touch the original door, yeah. So I mean, it's interesting, you know, because Barry ended up producing Lou Reed, you know, and you know Mick Ronson, and, you know, so it's fantastic.
We haven't mentioned the piano.
Yeah, no, I haven't really mentioned the
piano.
piano. No, I mean, let's say the piano.
Yeah.
It, you know, it featured on all those lovely songs which you heard upstairs, you know, and it had quite a distinct sound. The idea of the piano was that they made this they had doctored up the hammers, made it they made them a lot harder, so it used to strike the piano in a lot more percussive way, which gave it a particular sound and a good sound for recording rock and pop songs, you know, because it would cut through, and if, you know, just the actual recording on Hey Jude, you would just listen to it and there's so much presence on it, you know, it's just in your face, and there's not many instruments. But you know, the Beatles did that, you know, they made a lot of their instruments, but you know, the piano was here, they used it, and lots of other people used it, and it became they're famous, you know, for Elton John, you know, but
Where is it now then?
oh, it was sold at
It sold
auction.
for a lot of money,
It's
wasn't it?
sold, yeah.
What, 50
Sold
grand, wasn't it, or
twice in the
something?
end.
I don't know, because what actually
Yeah, I've heard
happened,
this on
no,
Richard's
they
tour.
had it restrung. They had it restrung down here, and the sound's never the same again.
No.
It sort of lost it a bit, and
Yeah,
somewhere along
that's
the line
right.
the piano went. But the guy who was a resident man who might have, well, he did play it most of the time, was our famous Rick Wakeman.
Ah, Rick
He was just
Wakeman.
a teenager, and he hung out in the studio. Yeah, he hung out in the studio, and anyone who wanted a keyboard, he could play. He was.
Bowie, T-Rex.
He just played on everyone's album. He's not credited, you know, with lots, but you know, he was the man. He just played piano. You want piano? Well, I'll play piano. You know, and so he's the man. So there must be a picture of Mr. Wakeman.
I used to have his Journey to the Centre of the Earth album.